Hello, guys. My name is Desmond, and I welcome you to my lesson for today, where we'll be looking at your mathematics. This is question 5 of your exam question paper. So, just in case if you're watching this lesson on any of our social media platforms, just make sure that you subscribe if you're catching up on YouTube. Otherwise, follow us on any other social media platform. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do allow me to say it is very much important that I say it is very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, because what I'm about to say, it's massively, massively, massive. Hey, massively important that I say a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. By so saying, please make sure that by the end of each and every lesson that I conduct, you learn something new. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, over there. So, guys, obviously, as you can see, we'll be dealing with functions. Since last week, Monday, we've been doing functions. We've done more on the introduction to the functions, namely straight line, parabola, hyperbola, and an exponential. So all that we've been doing is just to solve exam type of question paper. So today will be our last lesson on functions. Just in case if you missed our previous lessons, you can just visit our YouTube channel where you'll be able to catch up on the recorded lessons. So what I'm going to be doing in today's lesson is to quickly read through the given statement, do a bit of an interpretation on the given diagram, and most importantly, go through each and every question to make sure that we answer all the questions in relation to that drawing over there. So before I read through the given statement, Shreyas, can you confirm if you are still able to see over there?
Yes, I can still see.
Okay, so in case if you want to be reading with me, just make sure to click on back and go back into the group to see what I'll be reading. So sketched below are the graphs of f of x being equals to. So they're saying f of x, it is equals to, is it negative? What is it? Negative 4x squared plus 9. And g of x, it's equals to 2x plus 3. So again, let me write it there and say we've got g of x being equals to, what is it? 2x plus 3. The graph of f intersects the x-axis at A. Where is A? There is A. And this is the point of intersection they're talking about. Yes, I agree with that statement. And also, they say and B. So it's more like the graph of F intersects the x-axis at point A and again at point B. That is correct, as we can see. The graph of G intersects F at A and D and cut, let's see, and the y-axis at C. So it's more like this straight line or this function of G intersects with f of x at point A and D, which is that one over there. And again, the y-axis at C. Where is C? There is C. Okay, now it makes sense. So it's more like that line. It actually touches this function at A and D. And again, it touches the vertical y-axis at that point, being called point D. So the last part of the given statement says DE is parallel to y-axis. Where is DE? There is D, there is E. And they're saying is parallel to that, which means it forms a 90-degree angle over there. So you remember, guys, based on our previous lessons, we noticed that the moment we have that vertical line, and they also tell us that the vertical line is actually parallel to that one. If they don't say in their own words, they will just draw that 90-degree sign over there, which means this line is actually vertically upwards. And we already know that there might be a question which says calculate the length of DE. We already know to expect such a question. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can now try to answer the questions. But before we do that, let us quickly do an interpretation of the given information over there. So we've got the function of f of x. Can you guys see that f of x is actually y? It's negative 4x squared plus 9. So already I remember that this is the a value, and we said when the a value is negative, we therefore have a Z shape. As you can see over there, we've got a Z shape. This one, it tells us more about the vertical shift of a function, which means originally this parabola, it was actually making a U-turn there at the origin at a certain stage. So now it has been shifted by 9 units. In which direction? Because of a plus, upwards. So that means it moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it makes a U-turn there. So can you see what happens when it makes a U-turn up there? You end up having that point cutting that, and also that point cutting that. That is why they call this point A and again point B. So this point, it is not that much important. That is why it is not even given a letter, which means you might not be asked anything related to the turning point of that. Okay, so I hope you guys understand that part. So lastly, let's try to do an interpretation of a straight line function. Remember, everything that I'm saying now, we did discuss, not sure if it was, I think it was last week Monday. Last week Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we were doing the theory of each and every function. Then starting from, when was it? Yes, it's actually last week Monday when we started with the functions. This Monday, that's when we started with solving exam question papers. So everything that I'm saying now is just a quick revision on what we discussed. So let's see. We said when coming to this function being a straight line, this is the general formula. Remember, guys, this is the position of the gradient. So can you see in our case there, the gradient is actually positive 2. What does positive tell us? Simply tell us that a positive gradient is a straight line in that direction. For all the positive gradients, the lines are in that direction. For all the negative gradients, lines are in that direction. So in our case, you can see we've got a positive gradient. That's why we're having that line in that direction. Very, very much important is for you to notice that originally, just like I've explained, with a parabola there. I'll just quickly explain to you that a straight line initially, it was passing through the origin there. So it was actually y is equals to 2x. But now something happened. They added 3 over there. So this 3, it tells us about the vertical shift. Remember, vertical means up and down. So that means if we have positive 3, it means it has shifted upwards by 3 units. Down will mean negative value, but in this case, we've got a positive value, which means this graph, which was originally passing through the origin, it shifted by 1, 2, en 2, nil, en 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, en 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, you get it? Shreyas. If you don't get it, what must they do? You forget about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it simply means that straight line shifted by 3 units upwards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So that means now it is passing through that point over there. So can you guys now see that this function, it therefore becomes y is equals to 2x plus 3, which is that one over there. So this point, are we given there? Can you see it is named point C? So that means already we know what is that over there. And again, when you remember, or if you remember, we still have that. So can you guys see that now we are having 2 functions on the same set of axes? We just need to know all about that and also know all about that. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, over there. That's what I meant when I said I'll just do a very quick interpretation of those 2 functions. And most importantly, remember, guys, you've got 2 points of intersection, that one there and also that one there. You must always, 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 always remember that when you have 2 graphs touching each other at certain points, they have the same coordinates. So that means the y value and also the x value is the same for that and also for that. So that means if you equate this function and that function and you solve for x, you might get 1 value of x or 2 values of x. If you get 2, it means the other one is for point A, the other one is for that point B. Therefore, you can use any of the x value to calculate the y value at that point D over there. Not necessarily any value. So it's more like to get the y value at point D, you will use the corresponding x value. And then for A, obviously no need to calculate. We can see it is 0 there, the origin. So for someone who's in grade 10, 11, also those who might be in grade 12 and not confident in interpreting the function, just make sure that you watch all the lessons that I've done on functions. You will have a better understanding. I can promise you that. And if you do watch those lessons and for some reason you get confused, if you say you have watched this lesson and at this time you were explaining this, I did not understand, I've got the energy to explain because I'll be knowing exactly what you'll be talking about. And remember, I always prepare for these lessons. So I always remember, even after months, in terms of what I was saying. But if you just send me a complete new thing, I won't give it attention. And the reason to that is because just imagine you ask me a question on electricity and I haven't do a lesson on electricity and you ask me a question. I won't confidently answer because I don't know what information you have regarding electricity. So I only have the energy to answer you on something that I know I've taught you, because my response to Shreyas won't be the same response to Lerato. The reason is because if Lerato has been attending my lessons, I'll be knowing how to respond to her by referring to our previous lessons. And also, her question will be on another level compared to someone. As an example, let's say Shreyas. She's one of our new learners. She has missed a lot. She hasn't catched up on our previous lessons. If Shreyas asks me a question, I will need to spend more time to respond, because I firstly need to teach you, give you all the information that you need to know before I can attend to your question. And that might take a bit of time. So remember, guys, on Friday, 8 to 5, I'm at work. I only get a chance in the afternoon where I have something like 30 minutes to prepare for your lessons. After the lesson, as private lessons. From there, it's weekend. It's time to do some other things. So it's unfortunate, time is limited. But I hope you guys, you do enjoy and understand my lessons. I don't have too many learners who ask me questions after watching my lessons. Most cases, everything is clear, and you learn more when you watch lessons where there were learners, because they do ask some questions, they do share with us how to approach certain questions based on how they were taught in their different schools. So now I think we are ready to start answering the first question. Can someone just read for us the first question? What is the first question saying there?
Write down the coordinates of C.
Write down the coordinates of C. Ladies and gentlemen, in every question, there's what I call the cream of the question. So, what is the cream of the question? The cream of the question is that word, or those words, when they are removed from a question, the whole question won't make any sense. So in this case, the cream of the question is this word, coordinates. So it is very much important that you write down or you note that word, because it guides you in terms of how examiner wants you to respond to the question. What are the coordinates, or what is the coordinate? Coordinate is something that has X and Y. So whatever that you give as in your answer, write it in this format. Obviously, they are saying the coordinates of C. So you try and look at C. You ask yourself, between these two functions, which function is passing at C? Obviously, it's a straight line. What do you know about a straight line? You know that originally it was passing through the origin. But because of that, then there's a vertical shift. So that means that a function shifted by en 3 units. So that means at point C, we actually have 3 over there. Someone somewhere in this world is going to say C, it is equals to 3. This is wrong, 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 wrong. Lerato, does this sound familiar? Maybe Lebogang, because I know Lerato is still young. Does it sound familiar, Lerato?
Yes.
Can you sing the original one? Bom 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 bom. I'm not sure if you guys know Shaka's bom 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 bom. So guys, just be careful. Just be careful if you are answering the question. This is not you answering the question. That's why I'm saying bom 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 bom. Oratile, how do we then answer the question?
So I think we should I think we should answer the question like writing the answer in the, I don't know, I can by it's in coordinate form or like maybe.
Yes, coordinates.
Yes.
But now, how do I write it?
I think saying 3,0.
Yes, so you can just say C into the X value. What is the X value, Oratile? So the X value obviously is 0, and then semicolon, the Y value, it is 3. So this is how you answer this question. How many marks there? Class rep Shreyas, how many marks there for that question? I think it's
1
one.
mark.
Yes, can you see? Easy, 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 easy. Given 1 mark for that. Don't do this. Bum, 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 bum. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now move to question 5.2. I hope everyone is happy with 5.1. It was one of the easy questions. So now, what does question 5.2 say?
Calculate the length of AB.
Calculate the length of AB. So, Shreyas, you are telling me to calculate the length of AB. So the word length, it is the cream of the question. I hope I heard you correctly there, Shreyas, saying the length of AB. So that means I need to know that point and again that point. If I can know those points, let's say for example here, if I know the X value there is -5 and the B value there, let's say is 4, then I know the length from A to B. It is going to be 5 plus 4, then it is 9 units. But as a learner who has been attending lessons, you therefore know exactly how to determine the A and the B value. So obviously, you might need to know what are the coordinates there. So do we know the X value at B? We do not know, but we know that Y is 0. Same for A. So now, which function passes through A and B? We can see it is that one of Y. It is equals to -4x plus 9. Okay, so now let's see. What do we know? We know that Y is 0. So it's more like we have 0 being equals to -4x squared plus 9. So can you guys see that if we successfully factorize this, we are going to have two values of x. The other x value should be for A and the other one should be for B. Therefore, we'll know from the origin to there and then from the origin to there. So you should never stress, guys. You should never stress when the question says determine the distance. In this case, just forget about the distance formula. They will ask you nicely in question 2 under the chapter called Analytical Geometry, where you'll be using the distance formula. But in this case, use all the tactics that you learn in this class. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, over there. So now, how do we factorize this? Remember, guys, with me talking and talking, I'm actually giving you an opportunity to try and factorize this. I'm not sure if there's someone who has found the factors already. So I've just rewritten that nicely. So I can just divide by negative there, That means I've got what is it? I've got that. Let's see. I'm not sure, guys, if there's someone who's got what is it? The factors already. Otherwise, you can take that to the other side, and then yes, you can take that to the other side. But I know it could be 2x, it could be 3, it could be 3. Yes, 3 squared is that. Then you just have a plus and you have a minus on the other side. This is equals to 0. So also, guys, when you factorize, if given was attending the lesson, he was going to say, nitirisile inhloko. Utirisa inhloko is to use your head to factorize. Otherwise, you can still use this formula, guys. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. What is your a, Shreyas? Your a is 4. What is your b? Your b is not there, so it's 0. What is your c? You see, can you see there? It is negative 9. Then you punch all of that on your calculator. Remember, guys, if you don't have a calculator, just make sure that you've got a calculator. You must have one of those two. Obviously, when you use that formula, it gives you the final answer. Let's see, if I do that by that, it takes me back to that. That by that is whatever. That by that, it cancels. That by that, it takes me there. Okay, so that means my factorization should be correct. So, which means I can equate this to 0, that to 0. So I'm having 2x plus 3 is equals to 0, or 2x minus that is equals to that. Then I can transpose. I've got 2x being equals to negative 3x is equals to negative 3 over 2. On the other side, I've got 2x is equals to 3. X is equals to, 3 over 2. So that means the x values of A and B, we've got a positive value being x over 2, which is 1.5. Also there, we've got negative 3 over 2, which is 1.5. So that means this length from A to there, it's actually 1.5. Also from there to there is 1.5. So 1.5 plus 1.5, it should be, 3. So it's more like now, the length of AB, it is equals to 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2, which is equals to 3 units. So remember, guys, when it comes to the length, always, when it comes to the length, we don't use the negative sign. If you know already from there to there, it is, let's say, negative 1.5. You just ignore that negative, because the distance has got no direction. This distance cannot be negative distance. You can either say it's 1.5 in the eastwards direction, or in the westwards direction, or in whichever direction. But distance is just a positive number. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, over there. I'm not sure. Are you guys still there? Or are you watching the show there?
I'm
Yes,
still here.
still here.
Oh, nisasekhona. Lungster the Lungster. Are you happy there? Did all make sense?
Yes, sir.
100%. So now, let's try to move to the next question, being 5.3. Yes, Leratu. Is it Leratu speaking?
Yes, sir, it's Lerato. Say I was lost today where you were adding
I
the values.
Where was you mean there, ne?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You still remember what the question said, Larat? So it's more like they are saying the length of AB. Am I correct, Shreyas? Is that what the question says?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's more like Lerato. They are asking what is the or how long is it from A to B? So that means you will have to walk 1.5 unit from A. Bum 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 bum. Hey, now we are tired. We have walked 1.5, which is 3/2. So how long are we still supposed to walk to get to B? Bum 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 bum. Lerato, in total, how long did we walk from A to B? What is that length, Lerato?
It's 3 units, sir.
Yes. So you get it now, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
100%. So now let's move to the next question. Guys, the functions are not really that much complicated. The reason why something could be complicated is because you don't have a background. So that is why for each and every chapter that I do, I take you through the beginning of each and every chapter to mention all that you need to be aware of, so that when we solve for exam type of question papers, you won't be surprised when I say something. So I'm telling you now, Shreyas, did you ever get to a point where you felt like, hey, this is a point in my childhood life where I was planning or where I was learning or teaching myself how to talk? Or did you just notice that already you know how to speak, but you didn't know at what stage in your life you were learning how to speak? Shreyas, can you tell me your story there? Was there a point in your childhood life when you were very young where you felt like, or where you still remember yourself trying to learn or teach yourself how to speak? Do you remember that moment, Shreyas?
Yes, sir.
Yay! Hey, Shreyas! How? Hey, Shreyas, hold on. Let me check. Who's on the line? Let's see. Okay. Lerat, you tell me, do you remember in your childhood life, do you remember yourself trying to learn how to speak? Or do you still remember yourself teaching yourself how to speak?
I know, sir.
Hey, you guys are powerful. Then it means your minds are sharp, guys. So maybe I'm getting too old. So Shreyas and Lerato and everyone else, I'm just not. Is there someone who's like me who don't remember their childhood life where they were trying to learn how to speak? Because myself, I think I just noticed after so many years that I can speak, but I don't remember teaching myself how to speak. Let's see. Ndumiso. Kunjani lapho? Ndumiso Maseko. You know, Maseko, if we remove that MA, then it's my surname. Are you aware, Maseko? Ndu, 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 ndu.
Sir,
Yes.
yes, sir.
So, do you remember?
I can't really remember that, sir.
Hey, undu umdala bakithi. Lungster, uyakhumbula? Noma cha?
No, sengikhumbula.
Grace, kwenze njani? Awusitshele lapho. My God will make a way. Status Saka Grace. My God will make my way. Grace, uyakhumbula? Let me just turn off my thing. I'm not sure if Grace is there, but okay. So everyone else, what I want to explain to you is that in my case, I don't remember myself, or I don't remember the age at which I actually noticed that I can speak, or
Sir,
yeah, boo.
cha.
Do you remember? I think the message is taking some time to get to Grace. So I also don't remember myself trying to teach myself how to speak. So Lerato and Trias, for example, they do. It's not like there's something wrong with that. But what I want to explain to you guys is that we learn in different ways. Um, Someone can just be able to learn by themselves, or otherwise explore from whatever information that is available. Someone can learn through someone doing the same thing over and over and over again. So, like for example, in this case, with me, um, talking a lot about everything that has to do with a parabola. That's how you learn, guys. Even if, for example, at this point in time, you are not able to understand everything that I'm saying, there will be a point, we still have some time. We are not doing this chapter for the last time. We'll still be doing it again. As you can see in our library, we've got a lot of question papers that you can go through to practice, and also we've got memos there. So we'll be doing as many question papers as possible. I want you guys to pass your matric with very good marks, and also to be confident when you get to exam. So with me talking more and more and saying the same thing over and over again, you guys, some of you will be learning in that. Trias, am I wrong in saying that? Because I know you're in grade 10, and sometimes I'll be doing some grade 11 and 12 stuff with you being in the lesson. But you tell me, Trias, do you get value in me talking this thing over and over again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's now move to question 5.3. What is the question saying? Shreyas, I know your network is powerful there. You already got the message. What does the question say? Or anyone who's got the question, what is the question saying? Or are we not on 5.3?
It says calculates the length of DE if AE is equal to 2.5 units.
They are saying calculate the length of DE if if you're saying E is what? What did you say there, Larat?
If AE is equal to 2.5 units.
AE.
Yes, AE.
Hey, This is an interesting one. If AE is equals to 2 and a half, this is what you said, Lerato, isn't it?
Yes.
And remember, guys, 2 and a half, this thing, you can just punch it on a calculator. I think you're going to get 5 over 2. In a form of a decimal, it's actually 2 and a half. This is an interesting one, guys. But remember that we do know something there. We do know something there. So before I even go far, let me explain to you guys to say, when you want to calculate the length of DE, ask yourself this question. It's from which function to where? But in this case, can you see? It is from where both of these functions touch each other, which means you can possibly use any function. You can use any function to determine the distance from there to there, or the length from there to there, or the y value at that point over there. So it might make perfect sense when I calculate. So in this case, I will choose the easy formula there. So if in your case that f of x is an easy formula, you can use f of x. It's y, it is equals to negative 4x squared plus 9. Or otherwise, someone can use y, it's equals to 2x plus 3. Why am I saying you can either use that or that? Is because DE is from there to a graph. Which graph? Is both of the graphs. So that means if maybe you had a point there, I'm giving an example, and you have a vertical line up to somewhere there, and they say maybe this is F, G, H. Why am I saying F and say no, and say G and say no? It's because already these letters were used, F and G. So you use the next letter that comes from the last letter that was used. So let's say this is H. So if it's H, you ask yourself, from there all the way up to that point, on which function is it touching? Is it touching on F or G? If it's touching on F, that means you cannot use this one, but you can only use this one to calculate the y value. And that y value is actually from there to there. I'm not sure if you guys get my point there, but I hope you do. So now, what is the x value there at E, so that we can substitute it either there or there and expect to get the same answer? What is the x value there, guys? Is there someone who wants to guess what is the x value there? Balega yenyawo zobili, balega. Are you guys baleking there? Kgolagano, singakhuluma ntombo. Moeketsi o mphe moya wa lesedi wa bophelo le maatla. Kgolagano, remember, you might be speaking there but forgot to unmute your mic. Click on that button which says unmute so that we can talk.
Can you hear me now?
Yebo. Were you speaking? Were you busy preaching there but we couldn't hear you?
Yeah, I forgot to unmute the mic.
Hey, I can imagine you saying, "Sir, we take that and we do that and we do that and we do this. Then we calculate and we get your." What was your final answer? Or were you still thinking there, Kgolagano?
Yes, but the I couldn't hear anything before now because it was our internet was buffering. So
Yeah.
I'm on the stage. Yes.
Yeah. Guys, do you hear the buffering there? She's using bombastic ways to try and run away.
Huh?
Okay. No. Siyayenza lento. Siyayenza lento Kgolagano. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you. So they are saying AE. Where's A, Kgolagano? There's A, which is that point there. There is E. But now we want to know what is the X value at E. They also say AE is equals to that, which is that, which is that. But now we need to know the E value to substitute into any of these formulas to get the Y value. And we know the Y value is going to be that one there. So that will be the length from that line to there, which is the same as ED. Is there someone who wants to give it a try, guys? What are you guys thinking there? Do.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
how singayenza kanjani lento? Ucabangani lapho?
Sir, are we looking for the coordinates for E?
Lerato, what did that question say again? Lerato is still checking.
It calculates the length of DE if AE is equal to 2.5 units.
So they're saying calculate the length of ED if AE is equals to 2.5. So it depends on how you approach it or how you interpret it. You might say you are looking for the okay. Yes, you can take over and do.
Okay, sir. I think we can say this length for AE is 2.5. Then we can find the x coordinates for E. Then the x coordinates for E correspond with the x coordinates of D because they are in a straight line.
They said a DE is parallel to y axis. That means it's a vertical straight line. Yes.
So they share the same x coordinate.
Yes.
So then we can use those coordinates because we would have the coordinate for D. Then we can use the distance formula. Although we cannot really use the distance formula because it's in a straight line. Therefore, we can just add the two values.
Okay. So now, what is the x value at E?
The x value at
E.
at E, sir, is 2.5. Sir, can I calculate it now? Then I can tell you.
Okay. Just make sure that you don't calculate, but calculate it. Because I know some of you guys, you like calculating, and you see when you calculate, you get wrong answers. Let's see. What do I want to say? I wanted to ask a question, but I can't remember now. But it's fine. Ndu,
Yes, sir.
are you still calculating there?
You said I mustn't calculate. Then I was listening to you first.
Yo. Hey, there is Holagano's friend. Same WhatsApp group. Okay, Ndu, go
Yes,
for it.
sir.
Go for it. Sizokulinda baba, sizokulinda. Noma kunzima sizokulinda. Noma kanjani sizokulinda. In which grade are you, Ndu? 12, ne? Okay. Noma kanjani sizokulinda. Or kanjani Lebogang? Sizomulinda mos.
Zomlinda, sir.
Sizomulinda. Angenge abaleke sizomulinda. Ndu, ithini
Sir,
calculator lapho ba?
isn't the coordinate for E is 1 map 0?
Hey, what did you say, Ndu?
1 map 0.
1 map 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. But now, how did you get to 1?
To 1, sir.
Mm.
I said 2.5 minus 3/2.
Ladies and gentlemen, does that make sense? And you guys agree with Ubabundu lab?
Sisacela uNdu achaze kabanzi Nkosi yami.
Hey, Babundu, umzwile.
Yes, sir.
Oratile, does it make sense in terms of that one? Grace, Trias,
I'm not sure.
Kholagano, Lebogang, does it make sense? Why 1?
No, sir.
Babundu, outing cars, ne?
Yes, sir.
Ngayichaza le ndaba le.
Yes, sir.
Okay, outing cars. Remember, guys, if you have that, let's say, for example, you have that. So, you, Lerato, you said from A, this is point A, that one there. You said from A to that E there. What did you say that length is? Let's say, for example, you said that length is 2. No. Let's say you say it is 3. So if that length is 3 and we calculated, you remember, we know what the x value at A is. If you remember, we calculated it as 3/2. Let's say, for example, it's actually what is it, 2? Let's say it is 2. So now, what will the x value of E be? So that means it is just that smaller length there. So we need to know each and every point, but in that case, not necessarily each and every point. we just need to know what is from the origin to there. So that means this 2.5, it's actually from there to there. Why can't we subtract that length that we know so that we remain with this length? Then we know the x value at E. So someone is going to use 2.5 as the x value and substitute it there and there. So it's more like now you are no longer using that point at E because this point is 1. So it's more like you are using there it's 1, 2, what is it, and a half. So it's more like you'll be calculating for that point, then you're going to get something completely wrong. That is why you need to perform this calculation of that total length being 2.5. You minus this length that you know being 1.5. What are you getting? You end up getting 1. So that means from there to there is 1. What is 1? 1, it is the x coordinate of E. So that means at that point we have x being that, and then we don't know what is y, which is what we are going to calculate using any of these formulas, and we expect to get the same y value. If we don't, then it means something is wrong. Babundu, ujabulile ngomchazo wami, ungathi ngixazululile le ndaba le.
I say it's okay.
Lerato, uyayizwisisa now? Furious yazwakala manje.
So
Uratile?
1 is correct.
Yebo baba, siyathokoza,
Yes, sir.
siyayijabulela le answer. Lerato calls it answer. Ndumiso.
Yes, sir.
She'll be asking to say le answer le uyithole ka. Lerato, le answer le iyazwakala manje. Grace,
Yebo, siyayizwa.
uratile? Wayikwishisha?
Yes, sir.
Shreyas, wayikwishisha?
So can you say again?
Wayikwishisha this answer? You get it?
Hey, so
Hey, Shreyas, I couldn't get that response. Was it a yes?
I used the 2.5 and I substituted as the x for both the equations.
Okay. So this is what he did, Shreya. So he took that 2.5 because is the total length from A to E, and then he subtracted from A to the origin so that he remains with this portion. So that portion is actually 1. So that is the x value of E. Does it make sense now, Shreyas? We haven't substituted there. We just calculated the x value there.
So it does make sense.
So now, what answer are we getting when we substitute into those formulas? Is there someone who got an answer already? What answer are we getting there and also there?
So I'm getting +5 for both.
+5 for both. So I hope everyone is also getting the same. So now you are going to say the length of DE is equals to 5. So Babundu, it's more like now, since we know the answer is 5, we just take it as it is because that 5, it is a vertical line. So that means if you have a vertical straight line like that, you just calculate the y value from the axis. Then that y value gives you the distance from there to wherever. It depends on where the x-axis is. Otherwise, if you have the x-axis there, that means you calculate this y value, maybe you get 4. So that means from there to there is 4 units. Then again, you use a formula to calculate that. If you've got a formula, and maybe you get -3. So that means from there to there, it is actually 3 units. So from there to there, it is that plus that being 7 units. Also, if you have a line similar to that, in this case, you just calculate this x value and that x value. Let's say this is 1 and this is 5. So this is point A, this is point B. Someone is going to say from there to there is 5, which is wrong, because 5, it is from the origin all the way up to there, it is 5. But this section, it is that 5 minus that 1. Then it gives you 4 units. So in this case, no need to use the distance formula. I hope you guys understood that part. So now we can, with confidence, move to the next question. What is the next question say? Shreyas.
So it says, for which values of x will f of x be greater than g of x?
So the one, the x values for where, what did they say? Where f of x is greater than g of x. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct.
It's given how many marks?
2 marks.
Yes, it's given 2 marks. So that means you might need to comment on 2 x values. So you remember, guys, they are actually asking to say for which values of x this graph of f is actually greater than that one. So when you look at it, you have this thing similar to that. So this is the graph of f, this is the graph of g. So when you interpret this inequality, it is actually saying at which x values do you have the graph of f above or obviously greater than g of x. Do you guys not see that at that point and also that point? So what is the x value there? I think it's -3/2. What is the x value there? It is 1. Do you guys agree with me that between -3/2 and 1, that's where you have the graph of g above? No, the graph of f above the graph of g. So that means if they said where f of x is less than g of x, that means it is still at the same x values, but this portion going down up to infinity, that's where you have the graph of f being below the graph of g. But there is our question. So that means you are going to use these 2 x values, but you need to be careful of how you represent it. So you heard me saying it is between -3/2 and 1. How do you write that in a form of an inequality? So you will say that's where x, it is actually between -3/2 and 1. That is where this statement is true. it's not tricky to explain this type of questions. It has never been easy for me. I always took long in my matric or during my high school time to figure out how to answer this question, but I eventually learned it after I've done more and more and more questions similar to this. I'm not sure. Did you guys get what I explained there? Did it make sense though? Babundu, Bramaseko, Ngabination,
Sir,
Ndoda Madode,
sir, I have a question.
Mtombe.
Yeah. So why did the sign change? The greater than sign when you put a
Oh, okay. No, it makes sense. So the reason why it changes is to suit the statement do. So when
yes,
you
sir.
say between using inequality signs, this is how you write it: x between. This thing is the same thing and do. I'm not sure if you're getting me there,
Yes,
Babundu.
sir. Yes, sir. I do.
So does it now make sense when I say? Obviously, when I say it in words, it makes sense when I say where the graph of f is actually greater than, or where it is above the graph of g. It's between -3 and 2. As you can see, I've done a shading there. So it doesn't mean, Babundu, that this sign is how you should represent your answer. This one is more like they are giving you a statement to say, at which points are you having this graph above that one? Then your answer is not influenced by how that sign is.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
if they were to say the fx graph it's less than the g of x graph, how would you represent it?
Which is that one, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. So it's more like it is still between the same points. Make no mistake about that. It is still between the same points, but the representation in this case is different in a sense that can you guys see that from that, in which direction? In that direction, and again from that point in that direction. That's where you are having this function of a f below that one. I'm not sure if that statement makes sense, Duna.
Yeah, it does, sir.
So if it does, it means here they are just saying at which x values are you having a f of x being below g of x, because obviously if something is greater than you, it means it's above.
Yes.
If something is below, or if something is less than, it means it's below. So that means in this case, let me just quickly try to redraw that to answer that question. So it's more like now, let's see, this is what we're having there. So it's more like now we have -3/2, this point there, the x value, it is 1. So it's what I'm actually saying is that from there, in that direction, that's where you have the graph of f being below. You can see from that point going up to infinity. That's why we have that arrow. From that point there, going in that direction up to infinity, that's why we have that arrow there. That is where the graph of f, it is below the graph of g. So That means from there in that direction. So can you see, Nduna, I'm going to say where x value, I use that arrow in that direction being less than negative 3 over 2. That's where you have f of x being below g of x. Does it make sense then, Nduna?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, it doesn't end there. Also, from there, where x in that direction, that's why I use that arrow as that inequality sign in that direction. That's where x is 1, you also have the graph of f being below the graph of a g. But in that case, where they say for f of x being greater than g of x, if it's greater, it means it's above. Above what? Above that line. So that above, it is that 1 over there. So that means you're going to say between this point and that point, that's where you have the graph of f being above that straight line. But for this one, they're saying between which values of x are you having f of x being less than or being below that? Obviously, is from there in that direction up to infinity, and then from there in that direction up to infinity. That is why we say where x, it is less than negative that. So it's more like whatever x value in that direction, this will always be true. Whatever from there in that direction, this statement will always be true. We proved it on yesterday's lessons where Babundu, we substituted all the values in that direction on the formula for G and compared with on the form on F. So let's say, for example, we substitute negative 5. We substitute it there, and then we also substitute there. Then we compare. We say whatever value greater than whatever there. Then we compare if the statement is true or not. But let me not confuse you with that, because it only makes perfect sense when you go through the question that we were doing. But you got that one, Musindu. And again, if the sign there is greater than or is equals to, even on your final answer, you write it as greater than or is equals to or that or that. It normally depends on how the question is asked and also on what. But in most cases, if it's less than, then do me. So they say less than or is equals to. I was also going to say less than or is equals. So the less than or is equals to, it simply says from negative 3 over 2, including that negative 3 over 2 in that direction, that's where that statement is true. From 1, including that 1 in that direction, that's where that statement is true. But if it's just this, it simply means from negative 1 in that direction, but not including 1 is true. From a negative 3 over 2, but not including negative that, but any number in that direction, that statement is true. That's what it's meant by less than, and also when you compare it with less than or is equal. That's the difference. It's more like anything less than this, but not included. This one says anything less than, but also including from whatever number you're starting. Babundu, ujabulile la.
Yes, I am, sir. Thank you.
And everyone else, did you guys get it?
I got it, sir.
100%. So now, what is the other question saying, Shreyas? Is it the last question, or do we still have some more questions on that?
5.5 is our last question.
Mm-hmm. It.
Calculate the
calculate
Calculate
the length of AD.
AD.
So it
Okay.
says to calculate the length of AD.
Oh, okay. Length of AD. Length of AD. I'm going to give you guys a strategy based on my mathematical experience. It allows me to say you can see a right angled triangle there. This is a vertical line being E and D. And there you've got a horizontal line to A. So you have a 90-degree there. And then you have that. Here comes the question. Do we have that length of DE?
Yes, sir.
It's 5.
Yes.
Do we have the length of AE?
Yes, we do, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's 2.5.
It's 2.5, which is 2.5. In a normal fraction, you can just say it is 5 over 2. Not necessarily a normal, but an easy one to interpret. So, because this is a right angle triangle, it means you can use cos, you can use sine, you can use tan, you can use pyth. Always, when you have a right angled triangle, you are allowed to use any of this. It all depends on what you have. So can you guys see that AD is the hypotenuse? Do you guys agree with me on that one?
Yes, sir.
Easy, 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 easy. What is AD? Can someone calculate? AD obviously is going to be that squared being 5 over 2 plus 5 squared. What is that? What is AD? Let me quickly calculate.
5.59.
What is it, Lerato?
5.59.
She's getting 5.59 units. Did you guys also get the same answer there?
Same answer, sir.
100%. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for joining, and I hope you did enjoy as much as I did. So, you might as well try to work out that other question. I think maybe I will do just an interpretation on that lesson, and then I might play tomorrow just to guide you in terms of how you approach that question. But just give it a try, because I notice it's not a complicated one if you've been attending my previous lessons. So guys, thanks very much for joining. Have a very good night. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.